quickly review the comments from the last video. Hi, my name is Abhi and today we're gonna go deeper in this topic of ego. Just to recap, if you haven't seen the first video, Ego Part 1, I'll leave a link in the description. Please go watch it. To recap, now the very important question is asked. If the poet is the author of the story, then why did he choose not to be the king? Why did he choose to be the poet, and that too a bad one? Let's see some of the comments. Deliana said, I think the poet likes to feel like a victim similar to many of us. Therefore, the poet created himself as a bad poet and not the king in the story. How many times in our life we take up roles which are not empowering to ourselves? Kat says, your story here is a poem itself, totally open to interpretation. Simcat has left a lot of interesting comments, so please go check it out. She talks about author wants to bring his ego down, that's why he's choosing to be a poet. And let's look at the Shruti on the bottom. The role is only for the time being, so it really doesn't matter whether it's a king role or a poet's role. It'll eventually end. Let's take a look at our perspective. When you realize that you are the author in the story, then you also realize that you created all the characters with your pen, and each character in the story is equally important to you. From creator's point of view, there is no difference between the king or the poet or the bad poet. Creator is pure consciousness manifesting as all the characters. Just like in your dream, you can create 10 characters, but you are the consciousness behind all these characters. Only in our mind, we think being a king is more desirable than being a poet. That's because of the ego. However, when we realize that we are the author in the story, we are no longer identified with any particular role. That means you start rising above the ego. See, ancient mystics have always urged humans to self-inquire. The self-inquiry starts with a simple question: who am I? Latest research shows that our modern technology has been able to spot a star located about 5 billion light years from Earth. Technological advances have also enabled a man to study human body at the level of smallest quarks. We've been able to decode the information within the DNA. All this, and we still struggle to answer the basic existential question: who am I? To find an answer to this question, let's go back 4,000 years to ancient India. This question of who am I is handled in Vedic literature tactfully with another inquiry: who wants to know? And this creates subject and object awareness. Object awareness can be divided largely into 3 main categories: things I know, example, cooking, reading, walking. I know cooking. Things I don't know, for example, flying a plane, how to speak Bulgarian. I don't know how to speak Bulgarian. Things I don't know that I don't know, and I cannot possibly give an example for that. All these are objects we are aware of, object awareness. And then let's come to subject awareness. Subject awareness is the common I who experiences all these objects of knowing and not knowing. The experiencer itself. That experiencer cannot be objectified. The proof of the experiencer exists in having the experience. In other words, the fact that you're having an experience of your body and your mind is the proof that you, the experiencer, exists. Just like the proof that your eyes exist lies in your ability to see. Similarly, the proof that you exist as an experiencer lies in your ability to have an experience. One of the first experiences you, the experiencer, had is when you were born. You experience yourself in infant's body, perceiving life through the 5 perceptions of seeing, hearing, touch, smell, and taste. Gradually, more and more experiences were gathered through verifying these objects by these 5 senses. For example, as an infant, you experienced your toy by looking at it first, touching it, putting the toy in your mouth, tasting it, shaking it to hear it, and smelling it. Slowly, your awareness started shifting from inside to outside objects. And you started connecting with the outside world of objects more and more, while all the time disconnecting with the world inside, the experiencer. Slowly, our identity starts detaching from the highest expression of consciousness to this human body and mind, and further down to the roles of the labels in the society. Soon these labels and roles became the filters on our mind and created our ego, your identity, different from everyone else's identity. This ego also traps your intellect further down, and it starts functioning on the level of your identity. For example, if a person is identified with a role of being a tailor, then this person only judges people according to the clothes they wear. Let's describe the situation with an example. Think about a rich and famous actor playing part of a beggar on stage. This actor gets so much involved with his acting that he starts experiencing himself as the beggar. More and more he starts identifying himself as the beggar. He starts forgetting who he really is. Soon he gets deeper and deeper into his role as the audience starts applauding. He starts experiencing all the problems and emotions that come with being a beggar. We all heard about actor Heath Ledger's tragic death from an accidental overdose of prescription drugs. Soon after his death, news started to immediately circulate. The role of the Joker had taken its toll on him, contributing or even causing his death. This is our situation. More and more we start experiencing the world with all the roles we attach ourselves to. The more we start disconnecting with our true self. Soon we take on identities of belonging to a certain country, religion, sports team, profession, roles, and ultimately disconnecting from the knowledge that we are the experiencer of all these identities. So true awakening is not giving up all these roles and quitting this acting, but to be aware all the time that you're merely acting. This awareness changes everything. As long as we are identified with the ego at our human level, we'll always feel lack or not enough. The sense of lack comes from the mind comparing the present situation to the made-up fantasy in the future. And at the human level, it's true that you can always attain more, achieve more, experience more. And the true awakening is understanding that at human ego level, by definition, you'll never be enough. There'll always be someone richer than you, smarter than you, more beautiful, handsome, and so on. So let's go back to the story of the rich, famous actor playing a beggar. So here's the question we'll leave you with. What happens to this actor when he realizes that he's merely acting and that he's really the rich and famous actor and not a beggar? What shifts in his awareness? Please leave your comments in the comment section and we'll go deeper and discuss them in the next video. In next video, we'll talk about 5 steps to detach from our ever expanding ego. I am so grateful that you're watching this video right now, and I sincerely hope that we get to continue this conversation further. Please subscribe and hit the bell button so I can notify you when the next video releases. Also, please like and share so we can continue bring this Vedic wisdom to you. Namaste and peace. Let's create the life by design.